Okay, welcome back everybody to the Legislative Rundown. I'm James Kogor and joining me is Jayla Gittens. Let's start out with Jayla on updates on today's formal city council session.
Thank you very much, James. So, jobs were a heavy focus during today's Detroit City Council formal session with the consideration of several demolition contracts and a $4 million tax abatement for the Cadillac stamping plant redevelopment. Two reoccurring non Detroit headquartered businesses received all of the six submitted demolition contracts. One business being Salenbine Trucking, which is headquartered in Dundee, Michigan, and the other is SC Environmental Services, which is headquartered in Lansing, Michigan. SC Environmental Services also received a Detroit certification for leasing office space, in downtown Detroit. SC Environmental currently employs an 18% Detroit resident workforce with no reports on steps being taken to hire more Detroiters. During the Detroit City Council formal session, the administration reported that the reoccurring demolition contractor, Salenbine Trucking, has hired two Detroit residents after a long-standing 0% Detroit resident workforce. Council President Brenda Jones has been advocating for this contractor to prioritize Detroiters for over a year. It's also important to note that Council President Jones voted no on all contracts. 2/3 of demolition crews are made up of non-skilled labor and thus require limited training. Therefore, these jobs are easily performed by Detroiters, so the contractors must be held accountable for increasing their Detroit resident workforce.
Group Executive Nicole Sherrard Freeman reported that although there is no Detroit resident hiring committee, the developer of the Cadillac stamping plant redevelopment has agreed to priority hiring to ensure that Detroit residents are prioritized for post-construction jobs. Council President believes the application of the priority hiring plans to post-construction jobs are a step in the right direction and voted to support the development. However, Council President Jones has requested a report in the long-term benefit of the priority hiring plan as a long-term solution to guarantee that Detroiters hired on post-construction jobs created by development. She is also working on legislation to address the long-term guarantee for post-construction jobs.
Development continues to result in property and income taxes that fund our city infrastructure and payments of various debts. There's no denying this fact. However, our residential property taxes and property values remain at a relative low compared to suburban cities. Guaranteed jobs are an investment into our City of Detroit neighborhoods, youth, and future. Putting Detroit residents in good paying jobs allows residents to pay off debts and purchase homes. Putting these residents in positions to purchase homes and pay property taxes help to adequately fund our school systems, our libraries, our recreation centers, and our police forces. Additionally, putting Detroiters in good paying jobs and ensuring access to employment works to defer crime. In that, we aid to lower high insurance rates for homes and cars throughout inner cities like the city of Detroit. The city of Detroit has had more development than most suburban neighborhoods in the last 6 years. Yet our schools are still underfunded, crime is still high, and our insurance rates are still soaring, while residential property values still remain significantly lower than most of our suburban counterparts. And a large percentage of Detroit homeowners are receiving property tax exemptions as a result of the inability to pay their property taxes. We must not only invest in development, but also invest in people. Ensuring Detroit residents have access to jobs through development and city contracts is an investment in the people of the city of Detroit. We need jobs and we need Detroit businesses.
Also today, the Detroit City Council voted to adopt a resolution strongly condemning the recent acts of violence, rioting, and looting at the United States Capitol. The resolution makes several declarations, including but not limited to supporting the impeachment of President Trump, strongly rebuking all those that attempted to block the certification of the 2020 presidential election, including U.S. House of Representatives from the state of Michigan, Jack Bergman, Lisa McClain, and Tim Walberg, and calls for their immediate resignation while recognizing that the acts of rioters as treasonous and unlawful and calling for those involved to be punished pursuant to our rule of law. Today at 2 p.m., the Detroit City Council attempted to host a community of whole on the 17 proposed recommendations to the Community Benefits Ordinance. Some of those recommendations are to lower the development cost threshold from 75 million to 50 million, and lower the Tier 2 threshold to 300,000 and ensure investment in the Skilled Trades Readiness Fund, which Council President Jones created during the 2019 budget cycle to ensure investment into basic skills training, child care costs, and transportation costs to assist with alleviation of barriers for Detroit residents to work within the skilled trades.
Additionally, Council President Jones was requested to host a committee of the whole by the chair of the Planning and Economic Development Standing Committee on the proposed recommendations to allow Detroit City Council to decide which recommendations would make it to the legislative drafting process. As a result of the multi-year legislative review process and the request to host the Committee of the Whole, Council President Brenda Jones was prepared to move forward with the next stage in the process. However, other members of the City Council were not prepared to move forward with the recommendations without further discussions on the fiscal impact. This Committee of the Whole will be brought back in 4 months, pending submittal of reports. And that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning into today's legislative rundown brought to you by the Office of City Council President Brenda Jones. Also, make sure you like and share this video and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @IAM_Brenda Jones and on YouTube at Council President Brenda Jones. Additionally, you can also visit detroitmi.gov/Brenda Jones to view all documents related to the items discussed today, to keep up with our office legislative agenda, to reach our office via the legislative engagement form, or to apply for our Team Jones Now internship program. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight.